So it's my last upload of the year, and there are some big changes ahead for both my online presence as well as my performing side of things. Firstly though, just to say I hope you've had a good year. It's a cliche to say it, but where has this year gone? I really don't know. And I was going to say that I only purchased one guitar this year, but in the last week somehow that number has gone up to 3, and there definitely needs to be some outgoing guitars. So for those interested, my 335 is currently up on Reverb. Now a big change, a sad but necessary change, is in my performing. So I've been performing in 2 main projects for many years now, with a band called Swing from Paris and Moscow Drug Club. I also play in a little trio and, whatever random little gigs come in throughout the year. Increasingly, I was finding that I was just spending far too much time in the car. And I suppose that classic scenario that many musicians face, which is simply not getting enough time with friends and family and just being on the road too much. I've also felt for a while that being in 2 busy projects isn't good for either band. So I've sadly called my time on playing with Moscow Drug Club, a band I've been performing with for a long time. I'm really going to miss that band, and I have some fantastic memories on and off the stage. And we were just at the point where we were sort of finally working on a new album, and I just felt, I don't have the bandwidth for this, and they need someone who's going to give it their all, so I felt it was right to step down. They've been fantastic musicians to work with. I've learned an incredible amount working with them and wish them the best of luck for the future. And to be honest, I'm just more into swing era music, and I do a fair bit of the arranging for Swing from Paris, and that's really what I love to do. Now, a knock-on effect of this decision is that it frees up a lot more time for me, which is great. And that means I'm going to have more time to spend on my online work. And I've been thinking about tweaking things for a little while now. Something I've been toying with for a long time is sitting down and writing out a curriculum for learning jazz guitar. Now, I always take students on an individual basis and assess what they need based on their goals and where they're currently at. That said, I've always had an approach of my own up here that I've followed, and I decided it was time to sit down and write it out. So on both Patreon and YouTube from now on, you will hear me talk about levels 1, 2 and 3 for the different skills and knowledge required to play jazz guitar. And these levels will work as follows. For example, learning a melody at level 1 would be maybe you need a lead sheet, you need a real book to play it, but you work towards memorizing it. Level 2 would be learning to embellish that melody through melodic variation. So adding more expression, varying the rhythm, maybe adding some notes, taking some notes, and just adding more interest to it and making it your own. Whereas level 3, you can transpose it to other keys and you could harmonize it into a chord melody. In videos, I'm going to use these graduated colors to indicate the levels. And I don't want this to be like, oh, you're a level 2 learner, you're a level 1 learner. It's more just to be helpful, to provide more clarity for viewers on how to move forward with different aspects of their playing. Now, when I make content, I try to differentiate the content that I make, whatever aspect of music I'm teaching, but this will just make it more obvious for each individual. Now, my Patreon page lessons will be outlined in this fashion so that each person can get the most from it and see where they should be heading with different aspects of their playing, because it's not just about, oh, at this I'm level 1, I'm level 2. It's kind of seeing where can you take this forward so that you can develop this aspect of your playing. Also coming in 2025, and I'm excited about this, is a guide to the repertoire. Now this will detail the most popular standards, a big old list of them, grade them by levels 1, 2 and 3, and suggest versions to listen to, as well as detail points of learning that songs can provide you. There's also a section about key musicians to check out for each instrument, background to the different eras of jazz, and the bands to be aware of. I'll release a video when it's ready. At the minute, I'm just in that annoying but important proofreading stage. Now, I need to talk to you about a couple changes I wanted to update you on both YouTube and Patreon. Firstly, I'm going to start changing my YouTube upload day from Wednesday to Mondays. Now, the stats on my YouTube channel tell me that this is a better time for people that view my videos. This will be at the UK time of 6 PM. Here on the screen is that in other common time zones, and the standard of the month will continue to be released on the 1st of each month. Second change I'll be making, well, ever since starting this channel, I've had PDFs linked to lessons on YouTube freely available on my website. Moving forward in 2025, PDFs on future uploads will be on my Patreon page on the supporter tier, the lowest tier. I'm sorry to make this change, but I put a hell of a lot of time into making these lessons, filming, planning, editing and so forth, and I have to make it pay one way or another, otherwise I simply can't afford the time to do it. All previously available PDFs will remain available on my website, and this change will take effect from January. My Patreon is changing a little too, and here's a little summary on the screen. You can become a free member and get the playlist for the standard of the month for suggested listening. Then on the supported tier, there's the chord melody for each month, PDFs for my YouTube videos, that's the change, access to Patreon chat, and the backing track for the standard of the month. I've renamed the next tier, and it's now called Standards Essentials, and this will include all the previous benefits of the previous tier, plus a comping lesson on the 3 levels and a melody lesson on the 3 levels as well. The next tier is going to be renamed Technician, and it's going to include all the benefits of the previous tiers, plus 1 lesson a month on essential technique and how to practice it. I've been reflecting on this and can't help but think how technique should be just a simple base for everyone. So I wanted to provide some help and guidance in that area of playing, because without a solid technique, all the other stuff will just be very difficult. And then the soloist tier, we will feature a lesson on soloing each month, which is based around applying the concepts of my series Making the Changes. And then I've also brought in 2 new tiers for those that really appreciate what I do. The Super Patron tier, which gives you the option for feedback on your playing and practice suggestions. Members on this tier can send me video or audio for constructive feedback. And then finally, the Platinum tier, which is limited to 3. This includes the opportunity for a custom arrangement of a song maybe, or a lesson each month. For example, you might want a chord melody of a song you love, or a lesson on a certain aspect of your playing. As I said, that is limited to 3, and my Patreon page is linked in the description. One thing that I found has been very popular this year has been what I would describe as something a little different to lessons, and more, say, in the realm of coaching or mentorship. For instance, I've helped quite a few individuals with preparing for things like auditions, jam sessions, rehearsals, and concerts and so forth. I've also helped provide guidance on songwriting and dealing with issues around confidence and performing. So if at any point you need that kind of help, feel free to reach out via the contact form on my website. Sometimes I see people for the long term, sometimes maybe just for a block of lessons, just for a few weeks to help with a particular aspect of their playing or what they're working on. This just leaves me to say thanks as ever for your continued support in 2024. A special thank you to those that support me on Patreon, and I look forward to helping you with your jazz guitar journey in 2025. Until next time, you take care.